So I'm reading the voltage variations of the potentiometer using the Arduino. Those voltage variations, after capturing by the Arduino, I have to use to control the brightness of the RGB LED or the colors of the RGB LED. This you have understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what is the technique that I can use to vary that? That technique is called as PWM or pulse width modulation. Yesterday, if you remember, we have seen the Arduino board. On the left hand side, we had the power section and the analog pin section. How many pins were there on the analog side?
6.
6, A0 to A5. There were 6 pins.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the right hand side of the board, we had the digital pins. How many
14.
digital pins were there? 14.
14.
A0,
14.
yes, 14, very good. 13 to 0, so we had 14 digital pins. Out of those 14 digital pins, some had special notations. One tilde symbol was there. Did you?
Yes, ma'am.
We had discussed it yesterday, right? Tilde
Yes, ma'am.
symbol one. Those were
Yes,
which
ma'am.
pins? Pin number 11, 10,
11, 13.
9. No, not 13.
13.
It was 11,
Sorry.
10, 9, 6, 5, and 3.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I repeat 3, 5, 6, then 9, 10, and 11. Those are the 6 PWM pins. Now, what is the role of those 6 pins? Okay, the role of these 6 pins is that we can put a value starting from 0 to 255 in those pins. So a value 0 to 255 means the range is 256. I repeat, a value from 0 to 255. So total how many different values are there? 256 values. If I start from 0 and go up to 255. Are you following?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if I write on any one of those PWM pin, if I write a 0, then I get output voltage on that pin as 0. Okay. The command for writing into those PWM pin is analog write. So if I write analog write 0, the output voltage of that pin is going to be 0 volt. If you can see on the graphs, can you see my cursor?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So just focus on what I'm saying. We'll go to the duty cycle part later on. So if I write 0, I get a 0 volt. If I write the final voltage, analog write 255, the maximum value, then I get 5 volt at the output. Do you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, so if I write any in between voltage, if I write the mid value, that is 127, approximately the mid value, then what is the voltage that I expect at the output? Halfway through, 2.5 volt, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And of course, if I write any intermediate values, that is on the lower side, if I write 64, which is half of the range between 0 to 127, somewhere half of this range. So I'll get half of the range from 0 to 2.5, that is approximately, I think I'll get 1.25 volt.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So if I want 3.75 volt, which is halfway between 2.5 to 5 volt, that is 3.75, what I should write in my analog write pin? I have to write
Analog write
in between
120.
value.
191.
Yes. The in between value between 127 and 255, that is 191. So what do you see? By varying the values which we write into those PWM pins, I can vary the voltage at the output. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, when I write a 0, when I write an analog write 0, that is basically corresponding to generating a waveform with 0% duty cycle. Now, what is duty cycle of a waveform? All of us have seen square waves. Did you see square waves? This kind of waves, have you seen? From any function generator you have used in your labs? Even if you have not seen, it's okay. You have,
Yes, ma'am. Seen.
okay.
Ma'am,
So,
we have seen zigzag waves and
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no issues. So let us say we have a square wave. Okay. For any wave, there is a high part and a low part. So the wave goes high for some amount of time and then it becomes low for some amount of time, right? Now, duty cycle is nothing but the ratio of the time period for which it is high compared to the total time period of this waveform. I repeat, duty cycle equal to the time for which the wave is high compared to the total time period of the waveform. Now, all of us know what is time period of any wave. Time period is the time after which it repeats itself, correct? Class, are we following? Please
Yes,
let
ma'am.
me know.
Ma'am, once more the duty cycle.
Yeah, write it down. Duty cycle equal to, write down the equation. I don't have it in my slide. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Maybe 1 second. I'll stop the share. I'll share it again. Just a second. Okay. Now can you see the same slide again?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm inserting a new slide in which let me write duty cycle is equal to the ratio of the time for which a wave is on, that is T on, divided by the total time period, which we call as T on plus T off. If I go back to my previous slide, in this waveform, the middle one, time period of any waveform comprises of the time when the wave is high plus the time when it is low. The high part we call as T on or the on period. The low part we call as the off period or T off. Okay. So after every T on and T off, the waveform is repeating itself. So what does one time period comprise of? It comprises of T on plus T off. Okay. Till here, is it clear? Or should I repeat
Yes,
again?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Clear, ma'am.
Clear, ma'am.
Okay. So duty cycle is nothing but the ratio of the T on period divided by the total time period. Total time period is T on plus T off. Correct? So if I want to increase the duty cycle, what I have to increase is my on time. Right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if you can see in this slide, if I'm increasing the duty cycle, basically what I'm doing is I'm increasing the on period of this waveform. So for a 0% duty cycle, the on time was 0. For a 25% duty cycle, the on period was 1/4. For a 50% duty cycle, we have equal on and off periods and so on. When we have a 100% duty cycle, there is no off period. The 100% of the time, the waveform is on or high. Okay. So by changing the duty cycle, basically, I'm varying these values. I go from 0 to 255. And when we go from 0 to 255, basically we are producing a variable voltage on those PWM pins. So by varying those voltage, we can change the brightness of the LEDs, which will be connected to those PWM pins. Did we get it?
Ma'am, please repeat once again, ma'am.
Okay. So when we vary the on time of the waveforms, we are basically varying the duty cycle. By varying the duty cycle, basically what I am doing is I am writing different values on the pins. The values can range from 0 to 255. And when I write different values on this analog PWM pins, I'm actually varying the voltage that produced by the PWM pins. When I vary the voltage, those PWM pins ultimately are connected to the RGB LED. So if I vary the voltage, definitely the brightness of the LED also will vary.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So what I am doing is, if I give you the entire picture now, the entire picture will be, I am using a potentiometer. I can vary the slider of the potentiometer to give me different resistances, which will be converted into different voltages. Those voltage changes will be read by the Arduino, and it will be converted into an equivalent value ranging from 0 to 255 by the Arduino itself. All right. So
Yes,
variations in voltage captured by the Arduino will be converted into variable numbers or variable duty cycles on the PWM pins. Those variable values ranging from 0 to 255 on those PWM pins will be generating a proportional output voltage on the PWM pins. Now my RGB LED terminals, if I connect to the PWM pins, will have different voltages, and accordingly the brightness of the RGB LED is going to change. This is the complete picture. Got it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Potentiometer changes, voltages captured by Arduino converted into equivalent numbers on the PWM pin. Those numbers are translated into equivalent voltage because of the duty cycle variations, and those voltage will control the brightness of the RGB LED connected to those PWM pins, right? We are
Yes, ma'am.
all set to go?
Yes,
Did you
ma'am.
understand this
Yes,
part?
ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
All of us? So this is the end of the explanation part of the work. Now we go to implementation of the project. Not your project, the one which I want to share with you. Of course, you will take it ahead. Okay, can we move? I'll stop this share. And yeah, I'll stop the share and then I'll again share my browser. And I have already opened my Tinkercad's home screen. If you want me to, then I can show you once again if the new people are there. Any new person today in our meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You just have to, take any browser, and in the browser, you have to type Tinkercad. Tinkercad.com.
Okay, ma'am.
And type, it comes automatically. And then you have to hit enter. Because I'm already having an account in Tinkercad, therefore my home screen comes. If you're a new person, then you have to sign in. Sign in with your Gmail account, and you have to enter your country and your birth date, and then they will ask you to enter your password. So after you are registered with your own password, then anytime you can type tinkercad.com and sign in with your password. When you sign in, you'll get this kind of home screen.
Okay, ma'am.
In the home screen, on the left hand side, you can see circuits. We do not go for 3D designs, we go for circuits. Now,
Okay.
because I have already designed some circuits, you are seeing all these circuits. If you're a beginner, then this part will be empty for you. So anyhow, these are my circuits which I have worked upon. I can change any of this, or I can create a new circuit. So let me create a new circuit. Okay. So this is my workspace, this empty space, this is my workspace. And on the right hand side, I have my component list. Okay, these are all the components that I can use to build my circuit. So today, since I'm using RGB LED with Arduino, let me first start with yeah, my breadboard, and I get in the Arduino also. Okay. I rotate the Arduino. You can press R also. If you keep on repeatedly pressing R, alphabet R, it rotates. That is one more way. Now, what I want to do, I want to connect an RGB LED. So can you see we have on the component list LED RGB, a 4-terminal device. So getting the RGB LED. So make sure they occupy different columns. Otherwise, if you connect them like in other orientation, we might short their terminals. We do not want that. So make sure that each of the terminal occupies a different column. Okay. Now, when you take your cursor near to the terminals, you see that this is my red terminal of the RGB LED. Followed by the red, we have the cathode. Followed by the cathode, we have blue. And followed by that, we have the green terminal. Right? Okay. So what we'll do, let us say I connect the cathode to the ground terminal. I've connected the cathode to the ground terminal. I'm coloring it black. And now the red terminal, let us say I've connected to pin number 13. This is the blue terminal. Blue terminal, I'm connecting it to, let us say, 12. Okay, let me make some changes. With the blue terminal, let me connect to 10. The red terminal, let me connect to 11, the PWM ones. And the green one, the third one, let me connect to 9. Okay. So this is my RGB simply connected. Till now, I have not used the potentiometer feature. So now, I have not used any external battery also. I imagine that the Arduino is powered by the USB. When we start the simulation, automatically the Arduino will be powered by the USB cord. Okay, so if I start simulation, what will happen? Let us see what happens. Anything I have missed out? Anything I have missed out?
Arduino. We have to provide a ground connection to the Arduino.
Ground connection to the Arduino, we are not using an external battery. So there is no requirement. The USB will take care of that. Will the circuit work? Because I have not written any code for the same. If I start
Without code,
simulation,
it will not work.
without code, nothing will work. Nothing is going to happen. All right. So whenever we use Arduino, we have to remember to write the code for it. Now, yesterday we have seen that in the codes, we can use a block mode. There is a different mode for block plus text. And there is a simple text mode also, wherein we can type our codes. Okay. So yesterday we have ventured with blocks. Today let us dare the text part. Are we all okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Suvikram, can I
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
you? Okay,
Yes,
great.
ma'am.
Yeah. So I go for the text part. So when I type on text, when I click on text, it is shared that it is asking me whether I'm sure that I want to close the blocks editor. Okay, I'm sure, I'll continue. So now the text part has come up on its own. I have not typed anything in a manner similar to the blocks which came by default. By default, some blocks had appeared, right? Similarly, when I click on text, by default, this code has come up. Now remember, for any Arduino code, there are two basic loops. One is the setup part and other is the loop part. In the setup part, whatever we put within these curly brackets, this will configure the pins. Whichever pins we are using, those pins can be configured as either input or output. So within the setup part, what we write? Within these curly brackets, we write which pins will act as input and which pins will act as output. So we set the pin modes. The command used for this is pin capital M mode. Remember this language which we use for texting, this is called as embedded C, and it is a case sensitive language. So if you write pin small m mode, then this probably will give you a simulation error. This will give you an error. Okay, so pin mode will configure, over here it is pin number 13. This is my default pin which comes. So it is configuring pin number 13 as an output pin. In the setup part, only this much is there. Now, whatever you want to execute repeatedly within a loop is written within this void loop part, within the curly bracket under the void loop part. So whatever part, whichever code you want to execute repeatedly by the Arduino, that will be written inside the loop part. So there are two basic parts of the code. One is the setup part, the other is the loop part. In the setup part, you configure the pins as input and output. Within the loop part, you write those instructions which you want the Arduino to execute repeatedly in a loop. This much is clear to us? Easy?
Yes, ma'am.
I hear only one person, only one voice I hear as yes. I don't know whose voice is that. I cannot, make it out. But what about the others?
Yes, ma'am. We are understanding.
Okay. What about chaos? Chaos is Ritik, I believe. Okay, you have a very interesting rose with a chaos, but on the screen it looks a little, intimidating. Okay, so there are two main parts within the Arduino code. This is the default text which comes. But in our configuration, have we used pin number 13? We have not used pin number 13. Which pins we have used? Pin number 11, 10 and 9. Okay, those are my output pins. The PWM pins I have used to power up this RGB LED. So I'll write pin number 11 is an output pin. Also pin number 10 and 9, these are also my output pins. Okay, pin number 11 is corresponding to red color. Pin number 10 is corresponding to blue color. And pin number 9 corresponds to green color. All right. So there is a very good feature which we call as copy and paste. I'll copy this instruction and I'll go on pasting it twice. Why twice? Once for pin number 10 and the other time for pin number 9. So I've configured all the 3 pins as output pin. So my setup is done. Easy? Have you followed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So once I've configured all the pins which are in use, then I have to see what I want to do with those pins. The default part which has come is digital write 13 as high. That means it is setting pin number 13 to high. I have not used pin number 13. Which pin I have used? 11, 10 and 9. So let me change. Let us say pin number 11 I have made high. And after a delay of 1000, which corresponds to 1000 milliseconds or 1 second, again what we are doing, we are writing by using the command digital write into pin number 11 the value low. Okay, that means pin number 11 has been made high. We waited for 1 second, after which I am making the same pin low, and again I am waiting for 1 second, and this process is going on in a loop. Okay, so my coding only for pin number 11 is over. Okay, so can we see what happens with this much amount of coding? Let us start the simulation. So what do we see? Pin number 11 was corresponding to red terminal, right? So for 1 second it is off, for 1 second it is on, but somehow the LED is getting damaged, it is bursting. Why that is so? I stop the simulation and go back to the code. And let me ask you, why it is so?
Not used any resistor, the power is more as compared to the working range of the LED.
Great, because we have not used the current limiting resistor, right? So what we need to do is to bring the resistor over here. Now again, you people have to tell me what value of resistance do we need to use over here. Those PWM pins are capable of giving maximum output voltage of 5 volt, right? In our graph we have seen the maximum voltage was 5 volt. Each of these LED, these are individual LEDs, okay, red, green or blue. The voltage, forward voltage of these LEDs is 2 volt. So as per the equation yesterday, resistance will be equal to Vs minus V divided by
By
I.
I. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Here Vs is equal to 5 volt supplied by the PWM pin, maximum is 5 volt. The LED forward voltage is 2 volts and the current, permissible current is 20 milliampere. So what is the
150 ohm.
resistance? 150 ohm. 150 ohm. So let me bring 150 ohm resistances into the circuit. I search the component list and I bring in resistances. 3 resistances. One I connect to the red terminal, one to the blue, and one to the green. Resistances I have brought. Now I change the value. This should be 150 ohms. 150 ohms. 150 ohms. So Tinkercad gives us the flexibility of using the exact value of resistance which I am getting out of my calculation. But in practical world, all of us know that we do not get all resistors. We have some standard values of resistances. Now over here, the nearest standard which we can get is around 220 ohms. So most of the circuits which you are going to build up in your practical life will be by using 220 ohms. Okay, you should not go below 150. You should not go too much high. So the nearest standard resistance which you can find is around 220 ohms. But for Tinkercad, as I have the flexibility of entering any value of resistance, I am quoting the exact amount of 150 ohms. Correct? Right? Are we getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now one more change which I need to make is I have connected these wires directly to the RGB. So I have to move this terminal, right? I have to move this terminal. What I do, I click on this and I bring the terminal to the other end of the resistor. Is it okay? Are you following it? This wire
Yes,
which
ma'am.
was directly connected to the RGB terminals, I'm shifting it to the other end of the resistors. Okay, so my circuit is done. Now my coding is also done for pin number 11. So can we see the simulation? Let us see whether it is bursting now also. Let us start the simulation.
उसमें ब्लू लाइट जल गया क्या? नहीं चला.
Now do you see that the LED is now not bursting? It is blinking on and off with a time delay of 1 second in between. Right? This looks good. But
Yes,
then
ma'am.
but then we have written the code only for the red color. I want to bring in the other shapes. I want to bring in green and blue color also. For that, what I'll do is I'll use my best friend, which is known as copy and paste. And I will repeat the loop. I'll paste it twice. Why I have copied and pasted, so that I can easily modify the pins. Instead of 11, I write the code once for 10 and the other time, other time for pin number 9. Great. Now what I have done, by this modification, I have made pin number 11, that is red color, high, delay of 1 second, low, delay of 1 second. So this part of the code was making my red LED blinking on and off with a delay of 1 second in between. After one blink of the red color, now what I have done is I have made pin number 10 high. Pin number 10 corresponds to blue color. If you can see on the left hand side, pin number 10 is corresponding to the blue wire. So the blue LED will be made high with a delay of 1 second, after which it will be made low, and after 1 millisecond delay, I come to this part of the code, in which we'll make pin number 9 high. Pin number 9 will correspond to the green color, wait for 1 second delay, then we'll make pin number 9 low, wait for 1 second, after which we'll again repeat the loop. So what is the expected output? Pin number 11 high and low, blinking. Pin number 10 high and low, blinking. Pin number 9 high and low, blinking. That means red will blink first, followed by blue, followed by green, and the entire pattern should repeat in a loop. So is the code clear to us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you take down
Yes,
this
ma'am.
basic? Yeah, great. Did you take down this basic code?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, when I say take down means you have written down somewhere?
Yes, ma'am. I took the screenshot, ma'am, actually.
Great, great. You people are very, I mean, smart. Yes, in a appreciative way I'm saying. So let us see what happens in the simulation. Okay. So red blinking. Now blue is also blinking, and then green blinking, followed by the same pattern repeating itself over and over again. This is the simulation result. Okay. Great. Can I stop the simulation?
Yes, ma'am.
So the circuit is working good. Okay. Now you can make any changes to the code to bring in any pattern you want. For example, I don't want the blinking part. I want red, blue, green, this pattern to follow. I mean, one after the another. The delay of 1 second in between I do not want. Then what possibly can I do? So if I write digital write 11 high, and immediately if I write digital write 10 high, what will happen basically is the shades will overlap. Yeah, they will overlap in between. For example, I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you. I'll just make this as a comment. By putting 2 backslash, I can make any instruction as comment. So I have given digital write 11 high with it after a delay of 1 second. I'm making digital write 10 also high. I'm making all this as comments. And after a delay of 1 second, I'm making digital write 9 also as high. And giving a delay of 1 second, after which this loop will repeat. Let us see what happens. Let us see, just see. We are playing with the circuit. So first red is high, then we get magenta and then white. Now who will tell me why this happened? And this is remaining white. Nothing is going out. Nothing is changing any further. I stopped the
Ma'am,
simulation.
when all are on, the color will be white, ma'am, because as seen above in the series, we have got at last all three are blink. All means all connections are connected to the 5 volt because Arduino is giving 5 volt, and all color
Yes.
are glowing at once. That's why the white color is blinking.
Very good, very good, very good. So I don't want that to happen. I want individual colors, right? I want individual colors to be visible. So what I do is I make red high, but at the same time when red is high, I keep blue also, blue as low, and at the same time I should keep green also low. So now I'm getting only red shade. After this, I wait for 1 second delay. Then what I'll do, I'll make blue as high, but when blue is high, I have to make red as low, and also when blue is high, green also should be low. Correct? Now in the third part, green is high, but when green is high, when green is high, ten and 11 should be low. So now can you tell me what this code is doing? So initially, red color is high, blue and green are low. A delay of 1 second. Then blue is high, red and green are low. And then green is high, red and blue are low. See over here, the W is in small alphabet. All right, I have deliberately kept it small. And I want to show you something. When we start with the simulation, this lowercase alphabet, it will throw a simulation error. Okay. So just to show you how it looks, I'll start the simulation and see. It is showing an error. It did not give me the output. It says that, sorry, it seems like your code has some errors. And it also specifies what is the error over here. Okay. It shows that low with the small w was not declared in this scope. It has pointed out the sentence where the error has occurred. So to remove this, I close this screen. I go back to that sentence. I remove that error. This shows us that this embedded C language, it is case sensitive language. You cannot replace the small alphabets and with capital alphabets or vice versa. You cannot do so. Okay, we have to remember that this is case sensitive. Now I have made the changes. Now let us start the simulation. So now red, blue, green. We hold the red color for 1 second. Blue is high for 1 second. Green is high for 1 second, after which the pattern is repeating itself. There is no time when the LED is off, totally off. Okay, so we have the 3 shades, one after the another. Are you understanding this? Have you understood this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So now, till now, we do not have any control over the brightness of the LED. Okay, we have seen how to make the RGB LED blink with different colors. Okay, but to bring in the control over the brightness, which we call as dimmer. Okay, we have to make a dimmer circuit. Dimmer means we can control the brightness of these colors. So if I want to bring a dimmer circuit, then I require the potentiometer. I have to bring in the potentiometer. Okay, so let me get the potentiometer. I'm putting the potentiometer on this side. Just rotate it so that the terminals are facing the Arduino pins. Okay. Now, as you can see, in the potentiometer, there are 3 terminals, terminal 1, terminal 2, and in between we have the wiper or the slider. This is my variable arm or the moving arm. Okay. When we start simulation, only then we are able to move this arm. Only then we are able to move this arm. If we stop the simulation, this arm we cannot change. Only the potentiometer will change its positions. Remember this, the potentiometer variable arm we can rotate only when we are starting with the simulation. Otherwise, we cannot move this arm. Okay. So what we do, terminal 2, let us say we are connecting to 5 volt. One end we are connecting to 5 volt. We color it red. The other extreme, terminal 1, we connect to ground. We color it black. And the middle terminal, that is our wiper, we give it to the analog input pin A0. Right? So what modification we have done in our existing circuit? We have brought in a potentiometer. We have connected its extreme terminals in between ground and 5 volt. And the variable hand or the slider or wiper over here, we have given to the analog input pin A0. So whatever voltage variations we get by moving this resistive arm or the wiper will be converted into a proportional analog voltage, and it will be given to the A0 pin of the Arduino. Did we understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, to see what values are generated at the A0 pin by moving the potentiometer arm, let us modify this code. This was our existing code, right? This was our existing code. We have connected pin mode 11, 10 and 9 as output. And then we had written some program for the, changing of the LED color. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to read what values are generated on the A0 input pin by varying the potentiometer arm. For that, over here, I do not require this part of the code. Okay. I'll just remove it. I'll just delete this part of the code. Okay. And I'll introduce you to something which we call as serial monitor. Serial monitor is just for printing values which I initialize on the, or which I get on this analog input pins. So at the bottom of this text screen, can you see a serial monitor? There is a serial monitor which is capable of printing the values. Okay. But for initializing this serial monitor, I have to type in a command like serial
dot begin.
Very good. You have done any such workshop?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, serial, great. Serial dot begin
9600. 9600.
9600. This is our baud rate or the speed which we
Baud rate.
control the
Transfer the data.
transfer the data from the analog pin to the serial monitor. Okay. So for all those who have not done
Microcontroller.
who have not done this microcontroller or Arduino course, serial.begin is initializing the serial transfer of data from the pins, whichever pin we'll use, into the serial port at a speed of 9600 baud rate. So as this is part of the initialization command, therefore I use it in the setup loop. All right.
Ma'am, can we change that 9600 and put any value over that?
That will determine the speed of transmission. Usually for all serial transmissions, over here we are using 9600. Now baud rates you can use 4800 or half of that also, but that will change the speed of transmission. So we can try it at the end of this today's work. We can see what will happen if I change it to 4800 or something, whether that will affect the speed or it won't work. We'll try with those variable baud rates also. Okay. So as of now,
Yes,
go ahead with 9600. Now in the code, what I want to do, I want to see the values which are generated on the A0 pin. I have initialized my serial monitor to print
Just wait for some time. Maybe she is having some network issue.